Welcome to Latina Mic Drop, the podcast where you can show up and show out, where bold moves are not only encouraged, but the standard. This is where excellence meets simplicity and common sense. I'm Miriam Simon, your host, a leadership coach, author, speaker, a mom of three young adults, a grandma in my 40s, and a spouse to the most beautiful, kind soul, on a mission to empower 1 million people to continue to tap into their exponential power. If you're out there building your own family and your own future from scratch, you're in the right place. Join me as we explore the stories, strategies, and secrets that can turn your hustle into legacy and peace of mind. Ready to transform your life? Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Latina Mic Drop. And here we are in the new year, 2025. 2024 is gone and over with. But like in many things, things from 2024 linger and stay connected with us. And thinking about what I want to accomplish in 2025, I also need to think about what is it that I'm going to let go from 2024? What are some of those things that I want to let go of or get a divorce from? Not from people, not my wife, definitely not. But what have you been married to? Maybe an idea, maybe a belief that no longer serves you and therefore will only hold you back if you take it into this next chapter, into this new year. An interesting concept that I saw all the month of December was to declutter and to remove things from your life, like to start to take things out. And one of the things that I'm really good at work that I realized in my professional field is that I'm really good at simplifying things, and complications only make things harder and worse. And actually, it's the enemy of execution to be so complicated and to have so many things going on. And I know for me, that might be a little weird to say because I do so many things, right? I work 9 to 5, I have a podcast, I have a blog, I'm an author, writing books, I write in Forbes Coaches Council. But to me, all of those things add value, and all of those things have its time, its purpose, and its impact. It's not overwhelming. A lot of the stuff that I do actually energizes me as opposed to drains me. A lot of the stuff that I do put energy to, I make sure that the energy is there for me. Number one, that I have the energy. Number two, that I can continue to have energy to continue to do it, and that it energizes me back, right? It doesn't make any sense to do things that drain you. I thought it was really interesting, this concept of declutter in December, because a lot of times, we just accumulate things. I mean, right under this desk yesterday, I was under the weather for the past 2 days. I was thinking, what in the world am I going to do with all these things that I have accumulated over the year? And last year was really interesting because I went to various conferences and seminars. I went to an admin seminar for the administrative professionals, which was great because that was the first time that I actually took my EBRG out to a seminar specifically for their profession. And they were super excited to come. I took the executive board, and I had other people who were part of the administrative professionals who had won an excellence award. They were able to participate virtually. But thankfully, the International Association of Administrative Professionals conference was in the New York area. So I was able to take the executive board to the conference. I went to that one. I went to McLean conference in Las Vegas. I went to Unleash Her Power Within, Unleash Your Power Within, Tony and Sage Robbins. I also went to Ad Week, so Advertising Week. I had the opportunity to go to that conference here in New York. I went to the Hispanic Leadership Summit. I have all the cards, the lanyards from participating in those events. So I was thinking, like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? I don't want to throw it out, but I also want to make sure that I keep memories. So I was thinking about this decluttering also, right? You don't want to carry what you don't need into the next year, but you also want to have memories. So you're thinking about, well, what is the best option? So for Christmas, I asked my kids and my wife if they would give me a scrapbook, and they gave me scrapbooks. And so what I did is now I'm building my scrapbooks as well, so that I have the tangible items that I can place into the scrapbooks and keep the memories. It's all organized, right, by year or by event or however I want to do it. Obviously, in chronological order, I'll take some time periodically to be able to do that. Then I was just thinking, wow, like in order to make space for something new, right, you need to be able to take out what you don't need anymore. The other thing, too, that I've been doing little by little is I've been decluttering my closet. Every time I try in a pant that doesn't fit me anymore, as soon as I'll wear it one day and I'm like, oh, this is not going to work for me anymore. So I pile it up on the side and I start decluttering the closet. I've probably gotten rid of like 2 bags of clothes already, that my wife has taken for me and has gotten rid of the clothes because it's just too big and I'm not going to wear it anymore. Then I have a bunch of books behind me as well. Those books, I've been able to sort them out and put them away. I have more than one book because my wife and I go to events. So she gets a book and I get a book, and then I end up having them together. I ended up moving them and got rid of them so that I can have it more organized. And the books that I haven't read, I'm going to keep them at the top so I can still pull them when I'm ready to pull them and be able to read them. Then it's really important that as you go into the new year, right? Maybe you're creating a vision board. And so some people, like I've seen mixed reviews about that. They feel like a vision board is kind of like messing with your destiny or such. But to me, I don't think so. I mean, to me, it's more about envisioning what you want and then keeping it top of mind. So I'm a visual person and I need to keep my focus, right? Like wherever you focus is where your energy is going to go, and whatever you pay attention to is what's going to happen. So if you don't pay attention to your money, guess what? You don't look at that bank account, you're not going to know how much money you have in there, what's going in, what's coming out, what you're spending, all of that stuff, right? For me, I want to have, and I literally love to have reminders in front of me of what it is that I need. Therefore, like a vision board is good to have. A lot of people forget. The key here is they forget what they want to take out of their life or what they want to stop doing, right? Something maybe not working, or maybe there's a belief system that isn't helping you anymore, or something that's holding you back. For a lot of years, I was being quiet and reserved and invisible a bit because that's actually what served me. That helped me survive my upbringing and helped me stay safe. But in this corporate world as a leader, and now doing all this talking that I do externally, it's impossible to be reserved and not say what you want to say. You have to be real, authentic yourself. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time connecting with people. There comes a time where you will want to figure out what it is that you want to let go of. It's an audit that you can do. I talk about this a lot because this is something that I do all the time that has helped me figure out what it is that I want to keep, what it is that I want to stop. Given the new year, right? Many of you are coming back to the office. You're thinking about, oh, let me clean up my desk. I saw some of my coworkers actually doing it the other day. They were cleaning up their desk and taking a look at what they don't need going into 2025. It's a great time to, if you work in corporate, you're putting away your 2024 files and making way for 2025 files. Thankfully, now we can do those electronically. We don't need to do those in paper, but sometimes we do have paper. Like myself, I work with budgets and finance, and sometimes I do need the numbers and spreadsheets right in front of me, so it's easier for me to check off. It's important to always go through your paperwork and double check what it is that you need and what you don't need. And I think you could take this behavior, you can take this habit, you can take this ritual into your personal life also, where you're taking a look at what it is that you want to continue to hold on to or you want to let go of. And so, like I said, I have books that I don't need, duplicates of that I'll probably donate, send them out, share with somebody else who wants to read it. I have the documents and paperwork that I have at the bottom under my desk here of all the paperwork that I don't need anymore, that is irrelevant, that I have what I need. And now I'm able to put those away and get rid of the rest, shred it. And then also my clothes, right? Been able to gather my clothes. And I still have one more project to do, which is on my dresser. I asked for two jewelry boxes for Christmas. I just need to start decluttering the dresser, put everything in its place, have everything in order. Number one, it's easier for me to find. I know exactly what I have and what I don't have. And when I'm missing something, that's when you can say, oh, you know what? I have gold and silver, but I don't have black, or I don't have rose gold, or I don't have emerald green to match this dress or to match this outfit. At the beginning of the year, it's a good time to make an audit, take a look at where you're at, take a look at what's going on, take a look at what it is that you want to continue and stop. There's quite a bit of physical decluttering. You could tackle one room at a time. You could start small, like myself, a closet. Throughout the year, the drawer, the sock drawer, the top one, that one tends to have socks. It tends to have some of my important documents. It tends to have some old cards that I don't even use that are just sitting in there, or some things that don't fit in the dresser that I just want to put away at the bottom so it's not on top. I don't It's like a second or third of something. Like I have these little small lotions that I carry around with me, and so I don't use those often, so they last me a long time. So the extras, I put them in the drawer, and after a while, it gets a little messy, right? As you're going through your day, I get up, get ready really fast, and walk out the door. And so then you want to go ahead and take a look at that, right? Then your clothes, you may want to say, okay, how can I purge the clothes that I don't wear? What can I donate? What can I recycle? Actually, we did something fun in the office. What they did is they were able to do like a swap, clothing swap. And I thought that was really cool and interesting, because people were able to either get rid of items they don't want, and people could, pick up a item that they may need. So it was great. The kitchen clean out. So we moved here in this house in 2020. And what we did is my wife and I were going crazy because our pots and pans and knives they reached their day, and they needed to go. So a couple months ago, we threw them out and we bought brand new ones. We decided what color we wanted. So everything is color coordinated and it still matches our decor and our kitchen. The other thing we have to do is go through the kitchen pantry. My daughter is really good at doing that stuff. Thankfully, she helps us out and she takes care of that. We go through all the cabinets and the drawers, and you start to look at what it is that you can get rid of, what's old, what's expired, right? That baking soda that's been in the pantry for God knows how long, right? You want to get rid of that. I mean, lately I've been using that baking soda and vinegar together to get the smell of the dog, like from his stuff, and also cleaning out some things. It's really good to get grease off of your pans. So I've been using that. A bathroom refresh, right? You want to get rid of all your old makeup, check the expiration dates. I didn't even know things had expiration dates. I mean, I never use makeup that much anyways, and I normally didn't have a lot of makeup to begin with, but lately I have. So that's something on my to-do list, to take a look at how long you should hold on to your mascara, or how long You should keep those medications like Pepto-Bismol or cold and flu. Some of those things we keep on hand just in case we get sick and we need to take something. But sometimes you have to go through your stuff and say, oh my goodness, we have all this old medicine that we need to get rid of. And let's just go through the drawer. Let's just check to see any storage areas. I mean, I go through that basement. That's where we store our Christmas and all our Easter and all our holiday decorations. We keep it there. We don't have a garage. If we had a garage, it'd be crazy. Our attic is small, so we have minimal things up there. Our basement, though, is the one that gets the most action with the storage pieces from this house. So we always have to make sure that our kids are not just dropping off bags of laundry, which every so often they're there. And we need to tell them, hey, you need to pick this up and take this back or out of the house. It's not easy, but we have to ask them to do it. Otherwise, it will keep accumulating and accumulating. I laugh about it because it's something that we have to talk about all the time in my house. I don't know how they always have so much clothes, but piles and piles. I don't know. Bags and bags. So we always got to figure out a way to get rid of that. Our workspace, I love it here. So behind me, you can see the top shelf, and that one is for those of you that don't can't see it. I have the top shelf, and I have nice and clean 2 plants, a book, saying, 2 deer, gold deer, just for the decoration. Um, and then on my desk itself, I only have like space for my keyboard, space for my mouse pad, for a drink. I have a coaster for my drink. I have a nice card that my wife gave me on the right side. I keep my vitamins on my desk because again, I'm a visual person, need to keep that there. And I have a place here on the left side where I keep my notebook and my to-do list little notepad. Right in front of me, I have my computer, but on the left side, I keep space for my regular work computer. So when I work from home, I have this space over here on the left. I make sure that everything is in order and organized so that I can pick it up and get to work right away. I don't waste any time rearranging things. It's just the way that I have it set up that works for me. I make sure in the top drawer here under my desk, I have my where I handle my bills, anything that's upcoming, important paperwork on the left side. Very minimal things. My schedule, my calendar, my book, my 2025 book. I took it out yesterday and I started adding everything for the month of what I'm doing with my volunteer work, with my regular work, with my book, everything that's happening. I know the days that I do things on, but this is the way that I say, okay, you know what? I have a Lean and Latinas event this day. I have a speaking training that I want to take. I'm going to take it on this day. I have a book coaching call on this day. So then, like that, I can see my month in a snapshot. And I think that's why vision boards work, because the vision boards, you can take a look at what it is that you want and then you focus on it and you see it often. So then you end up knowing and saying, you know what, I didn't pay attention to this today, or I did nothing to reach that goal, or I did nothing to get, to the next step, or I did nothing to continue on. And then you say, okay, you know what, I got to get back. I got to get back. It's fine. We live life. We have kids to take care of, parents to take care of, family to take care of. We have ourselves to take care of, and we also have our personal goals that we should be reaching. And right over here on the left of me, on the opposite side of this, I have my business vision board, which is something that I created a couple months ago to stay alert on that, right? To make sure that I'm paying attention to what it is that I want to accomplish in my business. Right in front of me, I actually have a happy tag from one of those conferences. This is one of my main goals in 2025 on the list with trust and love. That's what I'm making space for, right? But then you have to make sure you get rid of everything else and you declutter. You can also digital declutter, right? Like, so you sort through your email inboxes, you delete unused apps, and you organize your desktop files. So in the office, I'll be doing that. I'm making sure that whatever I don't need, I like to do by subject line sometimes. And sometimes I just move them into the correct place, or they're already automatically going there because I like automation. Whatever I can put into something automatically, trust me, I will set up that rule really quick, because that's what's going to help me keep myself organized, especially in our digital space, especially because everything is coming into our inbox. And I do have separate inboxes. So I have separate emails on my personal email. I have my business email, I have my work email, and everything stays separate. My personal phone is my business phone, and then I have my work phone, and they are separate and apart. Very few people have my personal phone. I don't share that information unless they really need me and they need to be able to get me. That's the only way. I told them when I won't have the work phone with me in case they need me. Then emotional decluttering. I mean, this one is a little tough because, we want to try to limit toxic people as much as we can, but that's not always that easy. You'll know when the right time is to handle those, but if you are having those feelings and you are feeling that way, right? Like I mentioned before, check in with yourself and see if you don't have a limiting belief about the other person, or you're not thinking negatively about the other person, or you're not treating a relationship like the end of the relationship instead of the beginning of the relationship. Maybe you're not giving the person enough credit. A lot of times it's just what we're thinking about it that creates the friction and creates the negative thoughts, as opposed to it actually being a bad situation. Like for me, there was a lot of things, changes that were happening, and I wasn't adjusting to the change properly with my kids, with my wife, with my work, a lot of different things all at the same time. And so I was kind of like, what the heck? What's going on here? And I needed to reevaluate everything. And then I needed to just make sure that I was looking at it from a fresh viewpoint and not making it a negative thing. And that really helped me because it was just different than what I was used to. So what I was used to was something totally different. And then now we were going into new areas that required a different version of me that didn't require me to change. I'm still the same person, right? But what it did require me was to understand what other people's needs were and understand how I was affecting that. And what I was bringing to the table was making it a bad situation. At work, sometimes it is a toxic environment. You do need to walk out, or you do need to find a new job, or you do need to get something else. Sometimes people don't value you, and it's up to you. You always have an option. You're always empowered to do the right thing for yourself. You can let go of guilt or regrets, write them down, and symbolically throw them away. One thing that I did that was really powerful this 2024, and this last quarter has really been about decluttering my life and getting ready for 2025, because I'm in a getting ready mode right now, right? One thing that I did, and it was just about that senior executive role that I didn't get last year. Before I was even told, before I was even informed that I didn't get the job, I already knew I wasn't getting it. I wrote my feelings down about it, and I started writing. And actually, what came out of that was that in that vulnerability, in that moment of disappointment, I realized that maybe I was just thinking too small. That wasn't it for me. It wasn't the moment for me. This was at a time when I hadn't even started the podcast. This was at a time where I was like reassessing things like, do I want to stay at my job? Do I want to continue to work there? What is it that I want to do? I love my job. I love what I do. I have a lot of impact. I have a lot of influence. I love what I do during my day job. It's been a great place to work. What I do is awesome. Being able to get paid to do the work that I do when you love it, it doesn't even feel like a job. It's a great place to work. There's so much that job gives me. At the same time, where I'm being called to do something more, and I'm being called to do something different. And I'm just being pulled in a different direction than what I've been doing. That day, I really just had to write everything down and just symbolically let go of an idea that I had thought is what I wanted. It may happen in the future, it may not, but for the moment, I knew that it wasn't it. Me journaling it down and taking it out of my heart and my head into paper and letting it go made it so much easier. That same night is when I came up with this podcast name that I had been struggling with. What am I going to call it? Is it going to be Tattoos and Pearls like my book? It didn't sound right. It didn't feel right. And then I was just thinking, you know what? Latina mic drop. And it just worked. It just clicked. And it happened after that moment of letting go, even letting go of the disappointment, because not too many people knew I was going for the job. Some people did, some people don't. I mean, I don't really care. I'm really not worried about other people, what other people think, because I'm good. But the thing is that it was just my own like regret or guilt, or if I didn't go for it, I think I would have been regretful about not going for it. The whole thing was that I needed to do it in order to get through it, and being able to let go of those feelings was awesome because it opened the door to something else, and it gave me the opportunity to now be with you every single week here with the podcast, which is great, and I love it. And then the other thing you can also do, something that I learned this year, was brain dumping. What I do is I write everything down from my head to reduce mental load. That has helped me tremendously. Like, instead of keeping the dates in my head and keeping everything in my mind, oh yeah, I'm going to go for my mani and pedi in 3 weeks. What date is that? Now what I do is I put it in my calendar. In my calendar, and I have my notes on my phone. That's really helpful. I have like 20 ideas for podcasts. What I do is I write them all down. As soon as they come up for me, I write them in the notes. If I have a topic for the Forbes Coaches Council, like I'm thinking about what article I want to solely write, then I'll start to put them in there, my notes. I have something to do the next day or for work, or something that I've been thinking about or I haven't gotten to. It's on my to-do list. At work, I have my to-do list for the week or for the day. And then I also have one that I keep on my calendar. I'm telling you, the calendar saves me so much, because the calendar is what actually keeps me organized from everything that I do throughout the day. Sometimes I'll email myself at night if I just remembered something, because when you quiet down, for some reason things pop up. You're in the shower, things pop up. As you're walking around, going around the block, things pop up. So what I do is, at that moment in time, since I always have my phone, I always either email myself, either email my work, or put it in the calendar, depending on which phone I have and what's the idea that came up, and make sure that I put them away. And then the other thing that I do too is, now that I started journaling, is when I have a lot of feelings that come up, I start writing it down, and I start checking my assumptions, and I start checking what's going on. And it just creates a good way to keep everything out of your head and out. And then like that, you have a way of tackling it, or understanding that it's just something that you don't need to pay attention to right now. Creating a to-do list system, organize your task in a planner or digital app. I've been trying to use notes and stuff on the computer, but I'm not all that great on that. I use my notes on my phone, and I use my calendar, which is the best way to keep everything organized. And my to-do list, because I'm a visual person, I either keep my to-do list for my business here on top of my desk. At the office, I keep one in the office, and what I'll do is I'll take a picture of it if I didn't get to everything, because my work from home days are Thursday and Friday. And so I take a picture of that and I bring that with me. And so I have it back on my phone. I take a look at it really quick. And then I said, okay, this is what I need to tackle Thursday and Friday if it's not on my calendar already. And then that's how I make sure that everything gets done and it's handled and it's outside of my brain. I'm not so tired and overwhelmed anymore. Everything has its place, and I can understand, what it is that I want to do. The other thing too that I do is set boundaries. So setting boundaries is really important. I say no to things that really don't serve my priorities. If it's not in my scope of work, I don't handle it. If somebody else is willing to take the lead and it's okay to do, I have no issue with it. Um, and then sometimes, just saying no to events, or saying no to things I don't want to participate in, or things that don't just aren't hitting the mark anymore. I just don't do it. My time is precious, just like your time is precious, and you should really consider how you're spending your time and who you're spending your time with. So time is very important too. You want to make sure that you're reassessing your commitments, right? Letting go of activities that no longer align with your goals. You streamline your routines, identify tasks you can automate or simplify. Right now, I'm currently looking into how I can automate my posts because I'm currently doing them all myself, but I'm on my way and on my journey to that. And so I'm learning how to do all that stuff. So eventually, within a couple months, that will be done and taken care of, and I don't have to worry about that. So that'll be helpful because a lot of things I do myself, but I'm learning how to automate for myself as well. So that's great. And so that'll be easy thing for me to declutter my time as well. You can also financially declutter. So like financial decluttering is reviewing subscriptions, cancel any unused memberships or services, and how many services do we need with all this plus plus plus. They have every network plus, every network plus. Every other day, it's like you can't watch MTV on here, or you can't watch this on that. You need the network plus. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I don't need it. Then I'm like, all right, well, some of the shows I need to let go of because I'm not going to get that new subscription. And I double check which one is working. You want to organize your finances, right? You want to sort through your bank accounts, credit cards, and debts. I mean, there are a lot of financial help now that you can get. I have Financially Lit book by Janice Torres. I'm going to get the Cultura and Cash book that's on its way to me from Gigi, the first gen mentor. And I'm loving it. The Budgetista too. She also has her own podcast on how to do financing. And so those are really good. I mean, who teaches us about money? Not that many people. So it's great to hear from people like us. And these are the people that I'm paying attention to, because once you get to a certain amount or any time, any amount, you're really like, what do I do with all this? How do I feel about money? What was going on? And not looking at it is just going to make things worse. So make sure you're paying attention to it and looking at it. Some of the sentimental items too, like photographs, right? You want to digitize old photos. I mean, I don't think anybody's really keeping photos on hand. If anything, I print the ones that I want just to keep them on my desk at work, or, here. I don't even have any on the walls really in my house. I think it's a little weird. I keep them on my phone. I keep them in the digital ways that I'm not really like a photograph person, like a person who keeps the photographs printed. And then keepsakes, right? You only keep the things that are most meaningful, and otherwise you want to donate or discard the rest of those items, because those keepsakes are important. Like we keep a candle, a Christmas candle from my mother-in-law, which keeps us close to her with the things that she liked. We have her picture, her a saying that she gave us, a poster that she gave us, and just little things like that. We make sure those stay in sacred places that will not get damaged. Every single year, we'll take them out for the holidays. Tips to stay decluttered: adopt the one in, one out rule. So for every item you bring in, you remove an old one. You want to commit to a weekly reset. You want to dedicate a day of the week to tidying up your space. For me, that's a little more complicated. I don't know if I could keep up with that. So, I mean, you do what you can. And then be mindful of what you buy. I mean, avoid accumulating unnecessary items by shopping with intention. I do not shop anymore like I used to. I had put myself on a challenge to not buy from Amazon or anything like that, or to not spend any money. I actually deactivated the second debit card that I had. And I don't know, it's in my drawer, but it's not even activated. Because did you know that you could like not activate a debit card or not ask for one? They normally give you one because you need it to spend, but you don't even need to activate them. We have separate accounts for different things. We organize everything. Now I've decluttered my credit cards. I decluttered my home. I'm decluttering my personal space, decluttering my mind, even shedding the weight even being able to take a look at that in a new light is different, right? Because now I look different. So the way that I looked at myself before was very different than the way that I look at myself now. Take the time to declutter, simplify, get rid of things you don't need. I know sometimes we're like, oh my God, we work so hard to get this. Yes. And sometimes we don't need it. I mean, like we've been debating buying a brand new 65-inch TV, and we don't need it. Like we have one in our room. It's the same one we brought from when we moved, and we had a smaller apartment. But once we moved into this house, we have bigger walls. A 65-inch would fit, but it's not a priority. So we haven't bought it. And what are we going to do with the old TV? I mean, like right now, right in front of me, I have actually a computer monitor that I don't use anymore because I bought the Mac. So you see how quickly things, I'm not following that one in, one out kind of thing. I have it on top of the desk. I took it off the desk, but now it's at the bottom of the desk. So I need to find where to put it. So it's easy and quick to keep accumulating things if you're not careful. So as you go into the new year and you continue on 2025, think about those things that you can declutter. Take the time. Trust me, you'll feel so much better. I feel so much fresher, cleaner, calmer. Like, I don't have, oh my goodness, I have all this stuff behind me. Oh my goodness, I have all this in front of me. Oh my goodness, I have all these bills to pay. Oh my goodness, I have all these things to look through. No, I tackle it one thing at a time. The same thing that I tackle everything else that I do, put them on the calendar, take off the things that I don't need, take off the things that I take them off the schedule if they don't work for me anymore, and add on the things that do, right? So in order for me to be here with you all, right, I got rid of watching my Food Network in the mornings on Saturdays so that I could record my podcast, right? My wife is currently getting her mani and pedi, so she's taking care of her stuff while I'm taking care of mine. And so there are things that add value to us and some things that we like to do that are fun and okay to do, but just maybe aren't a priority. It's important to think about those things and think about what's important to you because, like I say, honor you 100%. It's all about you. We only have one life to live. And thank you all for tuning in and hope you have fun decluttering in January, and Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Thanks for tuning in to Latina Mic Drop. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're building something extraordinary together. If today's episode inspired you, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. For one-on-one coaching and more resources, follow me on your favorite social media platforms at author Miriam Simon, or visit my website at Miriam Simon Online. Until next time, keep turning your tattoos into pearls of wisdom and your dreams into reality. Stay strong, stay focused, and let's make history.